Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am Paula. I'm sitting in my car this morning. It is really early. It's like 10 after 7 and waiting for Ed to come out. We are going to vote this morning. It is election day, November 5th. We are doing that first thing today because we both have busy days today, and I have some coffee. I have some cream in here and some collagen. Just wanted to open my video now, get it rolling. We're going to go vote. We have no idea how long we are going to have to wait or anything because we live in a very small town. Lights just went out in the garage, but we live in a very small town. So we're hoping it's not going to be too long. I will see you all later on. So we voted. Ed has a really cool sticker. I don't know. Let me see if I can get it. So he got... I voted. So I guess there was like a drawing contest in different, at the school. Is that what she said? In different,
winners.
Different, yeah, drawings. And this is the one Ed picked. I thought that was pretty cute. I said, I'm traditional. I got the flag. There was a kitty cat one I almost chose, but anyways, we got the voting done. Did not have to stand in line. No, I was number 40. So we were there early enough, to get in, and there was people flowing steady in and out. So that's a good thing. I'll be back later when we have our first meal and show you what we're having. See you then. I just got back from voting. I am up in my office right now getting ready to make a coaching phone call. I am a health coach. If you're in need of a low carb health coach, I am certified in the ketogenic diet, the carnivore diet, all things low carb. I am also certified in gut health. Speaking of gut health, today is the 7th day from when I started fermenting my pickles on the countertop. I did a video on that last week, and I'm going to try them today for the first time, and I'm going to let you know how they turned out. So I also made the SIBO yogurt that is full of good probiotics, and I tried that over the past couple of days, and I'm made my first batch, and now I'm working on my second batch that you use the first batch starter with, and it's a whole thing. I will show you the book when I go down to the kitchen on the recipes for the fermented items that I am trying. Eating fermented foods is very good for your gut, and so I am experimenting with some different recipes, and I will be sharing that with you all as I try them and see how they are, and then I'll show you the process of how I make them and all that. It's very easy making these fermented foods so far. I'm getting ready to make my call now. We're gonna have some breakfast after I make my phone call, and I'll be back to show you what we're having. I'll see you then. Breakfast, 3 eggs, fried up over firm. And I have a couple of slices of regular bacon here and 1 big slice of beef bacon that I had left over from the other day. Delicious. This beef bacon is made out of brisket I get from local butcher. Very good flavor. So this is my first meal today. It's going to be delicious. I'll be back in just a little bit. My office right now with Manna. Yeah, I said your name. Manna. Manna Banana. Her nails are really long. I have an appointment for a spa day for her this coming Monday. So just less than a week away, she's gonna get a little pedicure. So I have taught her to make a little kissy sound with her lips. Let's see if I can get her to do it. Manna. There you go, do it. Oh, you did it. Good bird. I'm hanging out up here for a little bit with the bird. She's getting a little spoiled. And every time I walk by the cage, she wants to get out. And so I brought her up here to let her have some time out, fly around the room and kind of hang out a little bit. And I'm going to get her back in her cage, and I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to sit down at the table and talk about some emergency preparedness foods when you are on a keto or carnivore meat-based diet. It is super important to have a pantry stocked with some items that we can eat if we can't get to the store or if things are going on. Things are so uncertain in our world today. We know back a few years ago when we had the virus situation going on, there was time where we were quarantined, and there are weather-related emergencies that we can experience as well. And so I just want to go over some of the foods that I have in my pantry. I'm not stocked to the amount that I would like to be. When I go to the store, I try to pick up a can here and there of different things that I can add to my pantry. So I'm gonna go downstairs in a little bit, sit at the table, pull a few things out, and show you some ideas of what you can have on hand in case there is an emergency. Are they considered ideal foods for daily usage? For myself, I prefer fresh if I can get it, but if there's an emergency, I'm going to be glad to have these things on hand. So I'm going to go down there and sit down and go over some of the things that I have in my emergency pantry. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the emergency foods that I have in my pantry. I have a working pantry in my kitchen that is full of foods that I use day to day, and it's always being rotated. In my laundry room, I have a set of cabinets and a pantry as well. And the cabinets above my dryer, I am using to store some canned foods. I'll show you a picture here. And then I also have a big tall pantry that is like the one in my kitchen that I am working on stocking up with emergency long-term foods as well. I'm just gonna show you some of the things that I have and talk about some of the things that you can store in your pantry for an emergency if you are on a meat-based diet for health reasons like I am. If an emergency should occur, I just want to have peace of mind that I can continue eating low carb, which is best for my health. I don't really do well on grains or wheat or anything that is higher in carbohydrates. My body just thrives on lower carbohydrate food. If something happened and all I could get was rice and beans, then absolutely, I'm going to eat a survival food that I know is going to bring me nourishment. I may have some effects from it, but it would keep me alive. So there are definitely foods that I would eat in an emergency if I didn't have these things available, but I just want to have that peace of mind that I do have some things available. So the first thing I want to talk about is protein powder. I like to make sure that I've always got this on hand. This is something that you could use as a meal replacement. I don't recommend it as a meal replacement day to day, but if you don't have anything else, this would be something that would be very easy to mix up with some water and at least have some protein. So I always try to have some of these on hand. These do not necessarily have a long-term expiration date on them. This is something that you want to continually rotate out in and out of your pantry, but having protein powder around is something that would really work to help supplement when you are in need of protein. The next thing that we eat a ton of is eggs. Almost every single day we start out our first meal with eggs in some form, whether it's chaffles or omelets or scrambled eggs of some form. We like to have eggs. They're very nutrient dense. And one way that you can get eggs if you can't get a hold of any eggs fresh is powdered whole eggs. You can also get egg whites and egg yolks. I get all this stuff. Most of this stuff I've gotten off of Amazon over the years. I bought this actually a couple of years ago. These cans are good for a long time. I've never opened these. I want to keep them sealed because when you do open these, they start to expire more quickly, and so you have to use them up. And so these will not be opened unless there is an extreme emergency and we need to have some eggs. I have often wanted to open these just to try them out. I know they're not going to be the same as fresh eggs, but I just didn't want to open the can just to try them out. These are pretty expensive and it's something that you don't want to waste, and you want to make sure that it's sealed up really good and you've got it for long term. So having a couple of these cans in your pantry is an awesome thing to have. And the next thing I have while I'm showing that big can is some butter powder. This you just mix with some water and you can create butter. I do have some glass jar ghee that lasts for a pretty long time. I made sure that when I found the jars, I think I got them at Aldi, I made sure that they were glass. I didn't want them to be in plastic for a long time. So I got glass jars of ghee. It would be great to scramble up your eggs in, your powdered eggs. And also I have something else I didn't pull out of my pantry, and that is heavy whipping cream powder. You can get heavy cream in a powder form. Just mix it with some water and you've got heavy cream. So that is something else that you can have on hand. Other thing is canned meats. You can get all kinds of canned meats out there at the grocery stores. Walmart has a whole shelf area with canned meats. And there is ground beef in a can. I have never tried this. Again, these are things that are pretty costly, and I don't want to open these just to try them. I want to have them in case I have an emergency or I've never tried this. It is something that we have on hand. There is also canned chicken in this brand. There is a canned roast beef. I have several different varieties of these in my pantry. And something that you can use with these would be marinara sauce. This is marinara sauce that I get from Aldi. It's lower in sugar and carbs. This is the brand right here that is comparable to Rayo's. It's like half the price. And so having some jars of marinara sauce for your meat, that would be a really good thing. They do have dates on them that are best by. So you just want to make sure that you are rotating things like this. Another thing is bone broth. I really like the bone broth that comes in the glass jars like this. I try to keep several jars at a time of bone broth in my pantry. I do make bone broth on my own as well, but I usually don't can that bone broth. I usually keep it in the refrigerator and just use it up. This is good to have in the pantry in case you do not have fresh bone broth. You've got this. I have some chicken breast here. I have lots and lots of this. This is pretty affordable when you go to Aldi or Walmart, Sam's Club or Costco. You can go and get the big, like I think there's like 4 or 6 of these in a pack, and it's a good value. These are just a few bucks each, and this is a great thing to have in your pantry if you are on a low budget. Stock up on chicken breast. So when I go to Aldi, I always try to get a couple of cans of this, and I have quite a bit of chicken breast stocked up in my pantry. And something else that I do is I will write the dates on top of the can or on the side somewhere. Some of the cans we have written it on the side, but that way it's easily seen by me, who needs glasses for everything, to see best use by date is. And so that's another tip. Spam. This is something that has been around for many years. Again, this is processed meat. It is not going to be the same as having a nice big ribeye that is fresh. But in a pinch, in an emergency situation, Ed and I have talked about how we could take this and chop it up, saute it in some ghee on the stovetop, and then scramble in some of these eggs and have a really great meal that is packed with protein. So Spam is another one that is pretty affordable. You can get these at Costco and Sam's in like big packs that have like, I think there's maybe 6 or 8 of them in it. I pick up the 2 packs usually when I go like to Walmart or anywhere like that. I do keep Spam in my pantry. As someone who does really well on a meat-based diet, I feel like that I would do better eating Spam than I would eating grains, because my body does not react good to grains. Again, if that's all I had, absolutely 100% that's what I would eat. But I do have peace of mind having these options around. Another thing that you can stock up on a keto diet, not so much carnivore, is canned vegetables. And I like to keep the diced tomatoes around. These can be used in recipes. You can also take these and just put them in the blender and make a nice tomato soup. There's lots of things that you can do with, you could take this and make yourself some chili with some chili powder and some garlic powder. That would be really good. All right. Another thing that we eat a lot of is green beans. I prefer fresh green beans or frozen green beans, but I am not against eating canned green beans. So this is something that you can get very inexpensively. This is actually Del Monte, but we do have several cases of Aldi green beans in our pantry. It's something that you can warm up quickly and have with some Spam, and you've got a dinner, an emergency dinner that you can eat that will sustain you. And another thing that you can have for funsies is pickles. Pickles are great. They keep for a long time in your pantry. And so I have several jars of pickles in my pantry. Another thing that goes along the lines of pickles would be olives. You could get them in glass jars. You can also get olives in cans. Salsa, you could mix salsa in with your chicken as you are cooking it up and give it some nice flavor. And spices are another thing that you can really stock up on to have, because who wants to have really bland food? Chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder. Dehydrated onions are great if you can't get a hold of fresh onions and you want to add flavor to your foods. Something else that I have not tried yet in this little box, and I'm about to try now for the first time on YouTube, Carnivore Bar sent me some samples of their carnivore bars, and I have not tried them. They've been sitting on my coffee bar in this box for about 2 weeks now, but there is a salted carnivore bar, zesty garlic. My eyes are terrible. I don't know my glasses. Let me grab my glasses. They also sent me honey salted and honey barbecue. These are not your traditional protein bars. These are actually grass finished beef, grass finished tallow, and Redmond's real salt. That's what's in this one. The honey barbecue has grass-finished beef, grass-finished tallow, raw honey, pluck seasoning mix, Redmond's real salt. The honey salted has, I have butterfingers today, grass-finished beef, grass-finished tallow, raw honey, and Redmond's real salt. And then the zesty garlic has grass-finished beef, grass-finished tallow, pluck seasoning mix, and Redmond real salt. These bars have, like this one here, has 400 calories in it, 20 grams of protein, 35 grams of fat, and 0 carbs. These also say refrigeration is not required. These would be great if you are out doing really extreme, like camping or hiking, and you don't have a lot of choices of food to take with you. These right here, 400 calories of protein and fat. These are not cheap, just like a lot of the other items, the canned meats, the canned eggs, and that. They are more expensive. This is something that I would like to work on, having a couple of boxes of these in my pantry just in case. This may be rare, but you never know in an emergency if you're gonna have to evacuate your home. So this is something that you definitely could throw in your bag and take with you, and you've got fat and protein. So today I'm gonna try one of these for the very first time. I wish Ed was here with me, but he is at the hardware store right now. We just got our hot tub delivered yesterday, and he is looking for a part to connect it so he can get it filled. And so he's dealing with that right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this. And I think I'm gonna go for the zesty garlic. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I'm gonna open this and try it for the first time. And doesn't really smell strong. I thought it might smell like really strong, like garlic. Doesn't really smell. There is recipes out there where you can make these on your own. You can make your own pemmican. I think it's called pemmican bars. You just have to know how to do the preservation and all that and make sure that it's gonna last long term for you and not spoil. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I have never had pluck seasoning before, but I've seen a lot about pluck seasoning. Pluck seasoning is a clean seasoning brand, and they use a lot of organ meats and that kind of thing in their seasonings, so you can get organ meat in your seasonings and, you know, nobody knows. But the garlic flavor in this is really good. For some reason, I had it in my mind that it was going to be a lot greasier because of the tallow. I had it in my mind that there was going to be like grease stuck to the roof of my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like when you eat something that's really thick and greasy, that's the way I kind of imagined it to be, but it's not like that at all. It's very easy to eat, and it tastes like beef. It just tastes like beef and garlic. I definitely would eat this. This is something that I would love to have stocked up in my pantry, and I think they're very good. All right, this card says refrigeration is not necessary, but it will definitely give them a firmer texture. So if you wanted to eat them really cold, some people might prefer that. There is a little, almost like, it reminds me of the beef that's in here. I don't know if it's even the right word to say, but I don't know if you remember the crackle bars, the chocolate bars that had the little crackle rice in it. It's kind of like that, where not sweet in any way. This is not sweet in any way, but the texture, the crunch, along with the tallow, that's kind of what it reminded me of. This is something that I am going to not finish today. I want Ed to try this, and I don't want to open these other ones right now. I'd like to keep them in case, you know, I need them for an emergency. These would also be great. I'm thinking now, if you just need a little fat, like a fat bomb, you got a little bit of hunger, you could cut these in cubes and then just pop one or two of them instead of eating the whole bar. I think that would be a great idea. When it comes down to it, you can do this. You can stock up an emergency pantry, whether you want a low budget. You could do Spam, chicken breast, green beans, canned tomatoes, pickles. You could also do it on a larger budget. Stock up on the canned meats that are more expensive, the canned eggs. They also have powdered eggs that you can get like in Mylar bags that are smaller than this big can, and they're a little more affordable than buying a big can like this. So you could just buy small bags here and there and stock those up in your pantry. I forgot to mention, because I'm not a big seafood person, but canned seafood is also an affordable option. You got sardines, you can do canned tuna. I do have canned tuna in my pantry and lump crab. Ed likes to have crab cakes once in a while, so I do have those things. There's canned salmon, there's canned mackerel. Those are very affordable as well. I recommend when you go to the store, even if you're on a tighter budget, to throw some cans of tuna or chicken in your basket so that you've got some of these in your pantry in case your health depends and thrives on a meat-based diet. Start to look around and think of things that you can eat that might not be the best because it's processed and all of that, but I would much rather have canned Spam than something else that might throw me into joint pain or having a migraine or something like that. So those are my little tips on stocking up an emergency pantry. I'm gonna walk over to the counter and I'm gonna try my fermented pickles, and I'm gonna let you know how they are, what I think about it, and would I do it again. So I'll meet you over there. I have in this jar my fermented pickles. I put these pickles in, they were cucumbers, they were pickling cucumbers that I put in this jar 7 days ago. I put in a brine of water and salt. I used fresh garlic cloves, fresh dill, and some bay leaves. The bay leaves are supposed to have the tannin in them that helps with the crunch on the pickles. There's a weight down inside this jar that I'm gonna pull out here. It's got some dill hanging on it. Jar came with weights to hold down the pickles so that they don't float to the top. And so I'm gonna take those out, the dill. After I try these, I'm going to put these in a glass jar with a lid, and I'm going to put them in the refrigerator. And they last for a long time in the refrigerator. Look at that. It's a pickle. All right, look at that. I'm always so nervous about trying new things. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. Good. Very fresh tasting. They don't taste vinegary, which is kind of odd because I'm used to that vinegary taste when I'm eating pickles. But the whole thing about fermented pickles is they are full of probiotics, very good probiotics that will feed your gut good bacteria. And that is why I want to make these so that I can snack on something that's actually going to be beneficial for my gut. These turned out really good. So you can take some liquid out of your fermented pickles and put that in your starter batch for next time. They will ferment even faster. And so I just love this. I'm gonna put these in a jar with a lid, and I'm gonna save some of the starter for my next batch of pickles. So later on for dinner, I'm gonna be doing chicken and fish. Be back to show you how we're gonna have that, and I'll see you then. Forgot to show you the book. This is the book that I'm reading by Dr. William Davis, Super Gut. Recipe for the SIBO yogurt is in here. There's also some recipes for fermented foods. I got this recipe off of YouTube. I cannot remember the actual video that I watched. I will try to look for it and see if I can find it. And if I can find it, I will put it down in the description under this video. I watched a lot of videos on fermentation and I know which one it is. I just have to find it, and I will link that down below if I can find it. But this is a great book on gut health. So I just wanted to show you that. I do have some of that SIBO yogurt in the refrigerator, and I also have some over in my little yogurt maker over there in the back, making my second batch with the starter from the first batch of yogurt that I made. It is a lot of fun. I will see you all soon. All right, so this is my dinner. Look at that. Look at those chicken tenders. Looks delicious. I'm gonna have 4 of these. I usually have around 4. And this is my coleslaw. Look at that. Sorry, it's getting dark in here. It's really getting dark outside since the time change, and it's only just a little bit after 5 o'clock. So I also have some sugar-free barbecue sauce that I'm going to dip my chicken in. Just looks outstanding. Ed is gonna be having the fish, probably the rest of the chicken tenders, the coleslaw. I also made him some homemade tartar sauce, and I just used my avocado mayo. I add some dill relish and some Old Bay seasoning, and he really likes that tartar sauce. So that's gonna be it for tonight. We're gonna go ahead and eat. Ed's coming in. Make sure you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you real soon. God bless.